Hey guys! Playing some Disney music for you while we wait. It's kind of like, when the bell hasn't rung yet, and so we're just kind of hanging out, yeah? All right, guys, let me pause this music for a second, and then I'll be right back to do some math with you. All right, so that should have been really quickly. I can actually pause the recording, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to attempt, to give you guys some notes throughout this school closure. And as always, guys, so as I'm going through this, feel free to pause the video, write stuff down. It's going to be very lenient, okay? So we're going to be super lenient on a bunch of things. I'm not going to be grading like a whole lot. You will have a project, okay? So you're going to have a project that I'm going to grade. It's going to be a lot like the car one, but this time with house stuff, okay? So our new unit is going to be on houses and home things. So whether it's apartments or houses, furnishing them, right? Stuff inside, fences. We're going to do a lot of different stuff. So, my goal is to just do this twice a week for you guys. Can you see my two? There we go. Twice a week. And it's going to be just a really short notes, couple of practice problems, and that's it. Okay. And then so I'll do that on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll have Zoom meetings available for you guys where you can log on and ask me any questions or anything like that. And then as always, if you're going through it and you have a question right while you're watching it, text me on Remind, or you can message me through Google Classroom if you'd rather me text you on your phone instead of the Remind. Whatever you need. Okay. So I'm here for you guys. I do want to continue your learning. But the most important thing is that I'm here for you and that you guys are not overwhelmed with all the things. Okay. So I'm going to try to keep it as short and simplified as I can. And let's just see how this goes. Yeah. Okay. So I wrote it in the Google Doc that I don't remember what page we were on, and I'm not even going to worry about it. So what we're going to do is we are going to title or put the page numbers. OL is going to stand for our online learning because we're awesome and we're doing online learning. And then page 1, okay? And then today you'll have a couple practice problems. I'm going to want you to put those on page 2 and so on and so forth, okay? Our title is going to be mortgages. So this is when you are, when you own a home, okay? Not renting. You are buying a home. You're paying a mortgage. And today's date. And then our EQ, how do I calculate my monthly payments and interest? Okay, so if as we're going, you need to pause this to write. If I'm going too fast or whatever, pause it, write stuff down, take your time. Okay? All right, guys, here we go. So, all right, here, vocab, look it, let me read these to you. You do not have to write these down. If you want to, go for it, but you do not have to, okay? And actually, most of these things we won't even, go into big detail, okay? Back end ratio, the ratio of monthly debts to the monthly gross income. So, debts, we know what debts are, right? That's when we owe people money. And then gross income, that's our money before taxes, okay? And it's a ratio. So a ratio means the first one divided by the second one, okay? Balloon mortgage, a loan with a very high last payment and all other payments are low, okay? So this is a type of mortgage. It's best to just get a normal mortgage. But yeah, so it looks like it's nice because it has low payments at the beginning, but then it has a really high last payment. Okay. Front end ratio. So this is not debt anymore. This is monthly expenses to your monthly gross income. Okay. So back end was the debt. front end is the expenses to the gross income. All right. Interest only. Okay, this is a type of mortgage where it says only interest is paid until the final month of the loan. This makes no sense to me. If you're only ever paying the interest, I don't know how you're paying the house off, okay? So, no bueno, no bueno. And then mortgage, a loan that pays the balance of the cost of a home. Okay, so a mortgage is a loan, it is debt, but it's specifically for paying a home. Okay, so those are our vocab. And here we go, next slide. All right, so we're going to go through this piece by piece. So how do I calculate my mortgage payments? You guys have actually already done this, okay? So this was in our monthly payment formula when we had loans, right? Because a mortgage is just a loan. And so we've already done this, but we're going to go over it again. So M equals P times R over 12 times 1 plus R over 12 to the 12 times T. That's my numerator. And then in the bottom, I have 1 plus R over 12 to the 12 times T minus 1, okay? I've added all the parentheses and the little carets that you need. If you calculator issues, you can download them. You can Google a calculator, literally Google calculator, and it can do the little carets for you and stuff. Yeah, let me know whatever you need for that, okay? But here we go. So the letters, we know this, it's review. M is the monthly payment. P stands for the principal, which is the amount of the loan, okay? Not the cost of the house per se, but the amount of the loan, how much you have to borrow. The R stands for the interest rate. Remember, the interest rate will be given to us as a percentage, but we need to make it as a decimal before we plug it in, okay? And then the T stands for the time in years, all right? So here's an example for us. What is the monthly payment of a 15-year, $250,000 loan earning 4% interest? So it's going to have 4% interest come out. And so we plug it in. We got our parentheses here. I should have added the parentheses. Sorry. Here, let me add that for you guys. Pen. So we have 1 here. Don't need this one. The 0.04, right? Because it was 4%. And we changed it to 0.04. We had to move our decimal 1, 2 places. Put that 0. Okay. Close that. 1 plus 0.04 over 12 to the 12 times 15. That's a time sign, not a minus. Okay. Close the numerator with the parentheses. Divided by, right? That line means divided by 1 plus 0.04 over 12. We're going to add a parentheses right at the beginning there. 1 plus 0.04 over 12 to the 12 times 15 minus 1. Close it. And then when you plug all that into your calculator, you should get $1,849.22. Okay, so try it, put it in the calculator, pause the video, and make sure that you can get that. Okay, pretend I'm like walking around, I'm checking your answers, I'm making you show it to your neighbor. Okay, and so make sure you get $1,849.22. Okay. All right. So our EQ was how do we find the monthly mortgage payment and the interest, right? So next slide, we're going to go over interest. All right. Who remembers what interest is? I know you guys answered it. I heard you through the mic, I swear. But interest is going to be that extra that you pay, right? So you have the cost of the house, and then you're going to make all those monthly payments. Sorry. And then in the end, you're going to have paid more than what the house was worth originally, right? And so that extra that you ended up paying over all of those years, that's the interest that you paid. Okay. So Oh, 1 second. Okay, so sorry, you're gonna have that quick little blurb where it has all the work on it. I forgot to erase it before I started recording. So, here we go. If we borrow $150,000 at an APR of 7% for 25 years, you will pay $1,060.17 per month, right? So if you borrow the same amount at an APR for 30 years, you're going to pay $997 a month. Okay, so it tells us the monthly payment for each of them. So monthly payment, okay? So the only difference here is the amount of years that you're using to pay off the loan. Okay, so if you were paying $1,060 every month, it would take you 25 years to pay off that payment. However, if you paid a little bit less, right, it's only like $63 less, 62, 63. If you paid that much less, it would take you a whole nother 5 years. So it'd be it'd be 30 years to pay off that same $150,000. Okay. $150,000, that's like a house in another state. Okay. California doesn't really have $150,000 houses. But it is possible, just in another state. Okay. So it asks, what is the total interest on the 25-year mortgage? And what is the total interest on the 30-year mortgage? So let's see if I can color code this. So 25-year mortgage is going to be blue. And so we paid $150,000. And for the 25 years, we were paying $1,060 per month, right? So I'm going to get out my calculator real quick. All right. So first thing you need to know is how much was paid, right? So before you can find out the interest, you got to find out the total amount that was paid over all of those 25 years. So we're going to take, to know our total, this is me writing with a mouse. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll do. Okay, so to know our total payments, we're going to take that monthly payment, so 10, 60, and 17 cents, and we're going to multiply it for how long we paid, right? So we paid this every month for 25 years. We can't have months and years like at the same time. So I got to take this, multiply it. Does that look like a multiply? Oh my gosh, I made it worse. Okay, one more time. So we're going to take that and we're going to multiply it by 12, right? Because that was every month. So by 12 gives me 1 year. And then I need to multiply it by 25 because I had 25 years. Long time. Okay. And so when I multiply all three of those, I get $318,000. That's a dollar sign. Oh my gosh. 318,051. Okay, so over the course of 25 years, you paid $318,051. Okay, and so after that, we need to subtract, put this in green, red. We'll do. Okay, do this in red. There we go. So I need to minus the original principal. Okay, so the cost of the house was $150,000. So I minus $150,000 from that. Okay, and then I'll put in blue, since we're back to color coding, the interest. So my interest, oops, that is a different blue, sorry. Okay, so my interest is the extra, right? So I paid an extra $168,051. Isn't that crazy, guys? That's real, okay? When you have a house and you're paying for it for so long, you pay a whole lot of extra money on it, okay? Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for the other one, for the 30-year mortgage. I'm going to color code this green. Okay, so the 30-year mortgage is $997 a month. So I take my $997 and 95 cents, multiply it by 12, and then multiply it by, this time, how many years is this one? 30, right? 30 years. So times 30 equals, okay, let me do my calculator really quickly. 997 and 95 cents times 12 times 30 equals 359,262. Okay, already you can see that this number, this green number, is bigger than this blue one. Okay, so I'm actually paying more. All right, back to the red. So I need to minus that original amount. So it was the same loan both times. So minus the 150,000. And that will give me, oops, wrong green. That will give me 200. So my interest equals 209, 262. Okay, so the 30-year mortgage had $209,262 in interest, and then the 25-year had $168,051 in interest. So what's interesting here, I still have the pen. I don't know how to get rid of the pen, guys. Ah, there we go. Sorry. So my payment was higher, right? And I was able to pay it for a shorter amount of time, and it gave me $168,000 in interest. When my payment was lower, right? So you might think, oh, lower payment, that's what I want, a lower payment. Well, if you're paying that lower payment for more amount of time, so for 5 more years, you actually end up paying, sorry, my dog's barking, hold on. Okay, I'm back, had to take care of my dog. So what I was saying is, even though you might be like, oh, lower payment, right? That's good. But since you're paying it for 5 more years, you're actually paying way more in interest, okay? So the interest rate was the same. It was 7% both times. The amount of the loan was the same. It was $150,000 both times. And I ended up paying like $40,000 extra over the course of 5 years. I paid $40,000 more with that lower payment. Okay, so that's it. All right, so you want to pay attention to your interest rates, and you want to, because the longer you're paying it, the longer you're paying that interest, and so that interest is going to accumulate. All right, so this is important information for whenever you go and buy a house someday. Okay. All right, I believe the next slide should be your practice problems. Yes, perfect. Okay, so 2 problems. Yes, this one has some pieces, okay, but it's going to be okay. So the Smiths took out $130,000 on a 30-year mortgage at an APR of 6.5%. So there's your principal, there's your time, and there is your interest rate, right? Well, they actually did the math for us, and it says the monthly payment was $821.69. What's their total interest charges after 30 years? Okay, so this is just like that example I just did. Okay, you take your the monthly payment, you find out the total that you paid over 30 years, and then subtract the original amount. Okay. And then number 3, if you borrow 120,000 at an APR of 7% for 25 years, you pay $848 and 13 a month. You borrow that same one for 30, you pay $798 and 36 a month. So here we go. Part A, what's the total interest paid on the 25-year mortgage? So just like we did in the example. B, what's the total interest paid on the 30-year mortgage? Just like we did in the example. Okay. How much more interest is paid on the 30-year loan? Round to the nearest dollar. How much more? So you're going to subtract your answers from A and B. Okay, because you got the interest from the 25-year, the interest from the 30-year, and I want to know how much more is this one. So you subtract them. Okay, how much more means subtract to know the difference. And then part D, if you can afford the difference in monthly payments, you can take out a 25-year loan and save all that interest from part C. What's the difference between the monthly payments of the two different loans? Round that to the nearest dollar. What's the difference between the two monthly payments? Okay. Hint, you are given the monthly payments in the problem, right? The monthly payment for a 25-year loan and the monthly payment for a 30-year loan. So you are given the difference between, you are given the two monthly payments. You just need to find the difference, okay? I'll post answers on this in just a second. Let me actually get the answers. It's going to take longer, but it's going to look like it magically appears really fast. So I'll have the answers for you, and then you can check them. I do want to see that you are trying and you have work and stuff. But like I said, practice and try it, okay? Okay, so what I want you to do is pause your video, okay? Try the problems, and then I'm going to put the things in. So then when you're ready, push play again, okay? For the answers. When you're ready for the answers, push play again. All right, guys, there are your answers. Check your work. If you have any questions, hit me up on either Remind or I don't like School Loop messages. It goes to my email, so it's not as fast. But yeah, if you message me on either Remind or on like Google Classroom or something, then I can, if you'd rather I text you, you can just let me know that, and then I can text you with the number that you gave me. And yeah, so hopefully you guys did okay. Love you guys, miss you, and hope to see you at one of the Zoom meetings tomorrow.